Hello, buddy. Shogun's 1024 Duty, welcoming you back to more Pokemon Heartgold. In the last episode, we did a little something off adventure once again. After doing the Pokathlon Dome, we did the book catching contest here in National Park on a Tuesday. And since today is a Wednesday, the book catching contest is not going to be happening today. This episode, we are going to be progressing onwards towards our next Pokemon gym. But before I do that, we had a tough decision to make. Well, I had a tough decision to make in the last episode. I had the decision of whether I should replace Heracross with Pinsir or keep Heracross throughout my entire journey. And I let the Pokemon random generator on my phone do it for me. And what I did was, I put in show the number of Pokemon 1, Pokemon found specifically in Johto, and also typed in bug type Pokemon since they are both bug types. And it was to see who would be the first to reach the number 10. It was close, but the winner was Pinsir. We are now going to be having Pinsir officially on our team, but that doesn't necessarily mean we will sacrifice Heracross, because we can actually use him better as a HM slave than we can with Furret. A shame that I have to admit of using Heracross as a HM slave, because honestly he is a really good Pokemon. It is a real shame. But sometimes in life you have to make sacrifices, and Heracross makes a valiant sacrifice. And yeah, in case you're wondering, I actually caught Pinsir at level 13 in the end of the last episode, and he's now level 21. Well, I leveled him up off camera to equal the level of my team, being, at the moment, Fugo the Quilava, Joker the Ghastly, and Tyra the Tritini. And, I can't think of anything else I can actually talk about in this remark here. But yeah, Heracross can actually learn Cut. So, we've been wanting a Pokemon that could learn Cut, and Furret unfortunately can't learn it. Which is a disappointment to say the least. But also the TM for U-turn. Yeah, now you can see why Pinsir and Heracross are like two peas in a pod, or exact opposites of each other. Because they both can learn Cut, they both can learn a good amount of fighting moves, and hardly any bug moves, but they can also both not be able to learn the move U-turn. Silly, I will admit, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. So yeah, enough wasting time now. We are going to be moving onwards. We're going to be going back into Route 36. But before we go over there, something I didn't actually show in the National Park is that there's actually an item to be found over there. I'm not sure how many items specifically there are in the National Park. There's one up there, but you're not going to be able to encounter that until post-game. Just a heads up on that. Here, you get a Soothe Bell. What this item is that if you're using a Pokemon that evolves based on happiness, you can give the Pokemon a Soothe Bell to make the Pokemon more friendly towards you when you have it in your team. And there's a lot of mechanics involving friendship in this game. Not only does it have to require a Soothe Bell, it also requires having the Pokemon in your leading party, giving them vitamin drinks, allowing the Pokemon to level up, and also preventing the Pokemon from fainting by all means necessary. And another item here, jerkishly hidden, is TM28 Dig. I'm not a massive fan of the move Dig, personally. That's just my personal opinion. And over here, hidden item, you can find a full heal. I know I could have used a dowsing machine, but honestly, I kind of just knew it was there. But yeah, going back to Dig, what happens is you waste a turn to dig underground to avoid your opponents from doing any damage to you whatsoever, and then on the second turn, you come out of the ground, it's 80 power, 100 accuracy, and it does a heavy amount of damage to your opposing Pokemon. But there is a downside to the move Dig. The downside is, if a Pokemon uses Earthquake on the same turn, or probably Magnitude or Bulldoze, they will still get to hit you and they will do double the damage. Yeah, this is actually showing us about the Appy Blender. But the only reason why I've actually come in here specifically is... hang on, I just realized I should really load up the Apricorns page. That is, of course, if Bing doesn't give me a web link of a company called Apricorn, which I think is very silly. Right then, so in the Apricorn box, we've come across yellow, green, white, pink, and black. And yes, I know I still have not yet picked up the Pokeball from Kurt, but I will do. It's just, I don't want to trek all the way back there, if you get my drift. Here is one of the two new Apricorns we yet to be introduced. Blue Apricorn. Blue Apricorns, if you're wondering, are useful for creating lure balls. And what a lure ball is if you're encountering a Pokemon via fishing, a lure ball has a better catch rate to catch a Pokemon that has been found while fishing. And we got Psychic Mark over here that's got a whole team of Abras, in case you're wondering. I believe they will carry the move Hidden Power. Unless I'm thinking of the Sinnoh game. Oh, he's actually got Flash. Okay, never mind. So while I'm battling this guy, I'll go over the new encounters that you can get specifically in Route 36. Pokemon number 1 is Stantler. Stantler is a balanced attacker with average speed, but not so great when it comes to defense. It is able to carry the abilities of Intimidate, which lowers the attack stat of an opposing Pokemon on the field by 1 every time the Pokemon is brought into battle. Wait. Apparently I put down here, it may encounter when brought into the mix and yeah, I kind of like put a stop on the conversation of that sentence, and I just kind of like, wait, why am I actually meaning about this? And now I realize exactly what it is. But yeah, that's what Intimidate does. Every time you bring in your Pokemon that's got Intimidate for the ability, it will lower your opponent's physical attack every time you brought your Stantler in. But the other ability it has is Frisk. And Frisk is an interesting ability that very rarely gets shown any good use in battle. What it does is, it allows you to sense whatever held item your opposing Pokemon is holding. If your opposing Pokemon does not hold an item though, the Frisk ability does not activate, which is a bit of a bummer. But it doesn't stop it from being a useful item for a Stantler when it comes to competitive battles. But one thing that can be useful with Stantler is that the moves that Stantler can learn. Yeah, I was actually trying to find my bearings again. The moves that it can learn by leveling up. It can gain access to Stomp as soon as it is caught, which is a 60 power, 100 accurate move that has a chance to flinch the opposition, which actually is a really good move to carry. But the most powerful normal type move it can learn by leveling up Oh, sorry, actually no, that is the most powerful normal type move he can learn by leveling up. So I thought the most he could learn by the most powerful he can learn by leveling up was something completely different. Sorry about that. I was thinking something along the lines of Double Edge or something, but he can't actually learn that move. He can also learn Hypnosis, which can be really good because if you're able to bypass his 60% accuracy, you can hit your opponent to put them to sleep every time. The only trouble is, AI programming is tend to wake up on the second turn most of the time. But it can also learn Send Headbutt at level 38, which is actually a pretty good move to teach a normal type Pokemon because it covers their one and only weakness to fighting. And fighting types is a normal type Pokemon's worst nightmare, to say the least. And I'm saying that as a true fact. Because fighting types are the only types that beat normal. So that's that. Now for two other Pokemon that you can technically find, depending on what game you're playing. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, this is a fast method of healing up your Pokemon. Okay? There we go. If you're playing Pokemon Heartgold, you can find yourself a wild Growlithe. Lyra calling me again. But if you're playing SoulSilver, you can find yourself a Vulpix, which I think is one of the cutest Fire-type Pokemon I have ever seen in the entire Pokemon franchise. Yes, there are other cute Pokemon that probably might resemble the Fire types, like Charmander, which I will admit, in the anime it does look pretty cute, but going back to the topic at hand with Growlithe and Vulpix. Both of these Pokemon can evolve by using a Firestone once it's caught, but I would hold off until you taught the exact move that best fits the Pokemon. Starting off with Vulpix, my all-time favourite Fire type, it is just that adorable. Upon catching it, it'll be holding onto the moves Confuse Ray and Will-O-Wisp, which are status moves that are 100% accurate if it's Confuse Ray, to give a confusion 100%, but Will-O-Wisp has 75% accuracy that will inflict burn on all oppositions, which cuts the opponent's physical attack in half. But upon leveling up in Generation 4, it can learn Flamethrower at level 24, Fire Blast at level 47. But the only thing is, if you evolve Vulpix before level 44, you will miss out on teaching it Extra Sensory, which is an excellent move to teach. Unfortunately, though, it does have a 10% chance of inflicting flinch on your opposing Pokemon, but if you're wanting to use Extra Sensory, which is the best move for Vulpix to learn in Generation 4, you want to go along with that move, because it will not be able to cope if it just has Fire-type moves and nothing else. And something else about Vulpix is that it's actually really good with its base special attack and speed, with a bit of special defense to boost. I don't actually know the exact base stats off the top of my head without looking, but I don't really want to waste my time on doing that when we're not close to the end of the episode. So going on to Growlithe. Growlithe is a fast mixed attacker with 110 attack, 100 special attack when fully evolved, and it can be a bit defensive, but just like when you get Ninetales, it won't be able to learn any moves whatsoever the very second you use a Firestone on it. But it will gain access to Extreme Speed, which is a priority normal type move that is 100% accuracy and I think also 80 power. I could be wrong about that. It can be a useful move to teach when you want to finish off a weakened Pokemon from the start. The latest move it can learn before evolving is Flare Blitz at level 48, which is a powerful attack that can do a lot of damage to your opponent, but it comes at the cost of recoil damage with HP every time you use it. So don't be too reliable with the move unless you accidentally use it and allow the recoil to knock yourself out. And yes, I am serious about that. That can happen to a lot of us. And I do mean us. Okay. Right, I'm going to bring Tyra into the lead for this bit. No, I didn't want to talk to the tree. I'm the flower shop's Floria. Listen, when I sprinkled water on that wiggly tree, it jumped right up. It just has to be a Pokemon. If you soaked it... Oh, that's the squirt bottle. Soak the tree for me. I want to see what happens. Why do you want to see what happens when you said you already did it? There's an odd tree. Use a squirt bottle. If we use it... I'm not going to say what our character looked like he was doing. The odd tree doesn't like the squirt bottle. The odd tree attacked! Yet, the last encounter, only one of these in the entire game. Shooter Woodo, the fake tree. He is a plain rock type. He is a plain rock type, so don't be fooled into thinking that he's a grass type with those little green bits on his hands. Because I did when I did my very first playthrough of this game. But something else about it is that I even had no idea how to get past it in the past. Because when I played Pokemon Heartgold for the very first time ever, I beat Whitney and I went straight to the Shooter Woodo, but I had no idea how to get past it, and it spent me months, literally months, of asking a friend of mine who had been playing Pokemon for years of how you get past that dancing tree being Shooter Woodo, and he told me that you get the squirt bottle inside Goldenrod City. I felt like an idiot, and I had to go all the way through National Park, through Route 35, back into Goldenrod City to get the squirt bottle, and then go all the way back again. And yes, I didn't even have the bicycle by then. Shooter Woodo, the imitation Pokemon, although it always pretends to be a tree, its composition appears more similar to rock than to vegetation. So going back to this, it can carry sturdy vulnerability, which allows the Pokemon to survive a super effective hit, providing he has max health. But it can also carry rocket vulnerability, which is another ability that the Geodude family is known to carry. It does have a pre-evolved form. Oh, so in case you're wondering what Rockhead does, Rockhead protects the Pokemon from taking recoil damage from moves like Flare Blitz, or a move that Shooter Woodo I think can learn in Generation 4, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to go over what it is, so you're just going to have to wait and see. Right here. When you remove the Shooter Woodo, you get given berry pots. With the berry pots, you can grow any berry from any region with no worries. That's right, I'll give you some berries too. Berry pots won't do any good without berries. She will give us an Oran berry and Pecha berries. The standard berries you would normally get given after you've beaten the first gym before tackling the second. So why on earth is she giving us one useless berry in this current stage right now, and one berry that can be really useful in dire situations after beating the third gym? I do not get it. I don't even, honestly, I could show you what the berry pots even do, but don't waste your time really, because it's like you're growing the berries, but it takes real time for them to grow. Sometimes 1 day, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. I do not waste my time with it at all. So going back to Sudowoodo, in Generation 4, he does have a pre-evolution, but we are going to be saving that until when Generation 4 comes out. It is, honestly, Sudowoodo, very slow, but average when it comes to attack and pretty good defenses and HP to boost. And that's pretty much all we've got time for this episode, unfortunately. Next time on Pokemon Heartgold, now that we've gotten rid of Sudowoodo, even though we actually caught it and it's sitting on our PC for indefinitely, we will be moving onwards to where we couldn't before. See you guys then.